Mangala Shloka. Nidhaya hridi vishvesham vidhaya guruvandanam balanam sukhabodhaya kriyate tarka sangraha vishveshwaram sambamurtim pranipatya giram gurum tikam shishuhitam kurve tarka sangraha deepikam. We have finished this. Maybe we will read the Mula and then go ahead. Second line. Dravya guna karma samanya vishesha samavaya bhava sapta padartha. You want to repeat or read along? How do you want? Okay. Repeat. Second line. Dravya guna.
Dravya guna karma samanya vishesha samavaya
Once more. Dravya guna karma samanya vishesha samavaya bhava sapta padartha tatra dravyani prithivyatejo vaivakasha kala digatmamanamsi navaiva पृथिव्यप्तेजो वाय्वाकाशकालदिगात्ममनांसि न वैव. Next, we will go to Rupa also. We will read all of these today, and then I will come back. I will tell you why. Now I will tell this. You can repeat. First time we are coming to Guna. I know we have 3 lines remaining there. Rupa rasa gandha sparsha Sankhya parimana Pruthaktva sanyoga vibhaga Paratva paratva Gurutva dravatva Sneha Shabda buddhi Sukha dukkhe chadvesha Prayatna dharma Samskaras chaturvimshatir gunaha. Should we read? Shall I repeat it once more? Rupa rasa gandha sparsha Sankhya parimana pruthaktva sanyoga vibhaga Paratva paratva gurutva dravatva Sneha shabda buddhi sukha dukkhe cha Dvesha prayatna dharma samskaraha Chaturvimshatir gunaha. Next, fifth, we'll go. Utkshepana Apakshepana Akunchana Prasarana Gamanani Panchakarmani Utkshepana Pakshepana
Utshepana Pakshepana
Akunchana Prasarana Gamanani
Akunchana Prasaragamani Akunchana Prasaragamani
Panchakarmani
Panchakarmani
Paramaparancheti Dvividham Samanyam
Paramaparam Cheti Dvidham Samanyam Paramaparam Cheti Dvidham Samanyam
Nityadravya Vrittayaha
Nityadravya Vrittayaha
Visheshastvananta eva
Visheshastvananta eva Visheshastvananta eva
Samavayastveka eva
Samavayastveka eva Samavayastveka eva
Abhavaschaturvidhaha
Abhavaschaturvidhaः Abhavaschaturvidhaः
Pragabhavah Pradhvamsabhavah
Pragabhavapradvamsabhavah Pragabhavapradvamsabhavah
Atyantabhavah
Atyantabhavah Atyantabhavah
Anyonyabhavascheti.
Anyonyabhavascheti Anyonyabhavascheti
We have finished the definition of all padarthas. So now we will come back to this Rupa Rasagandha. I will come back to those three sentences because you need some idea of these to understand those last three sentences that we saw. In last class, we stopped here with the Purva Paksha as Gunavattam na Dravya Lakshanam. That Gunavattva cannot be Dravya Lakshana. That something has Guna cannot be the Lakshana of Dravya was the Purva Paksha we saw and stopped there. There the Samadhana comes as Guna Samanadhikarana Satta Bhinna Jati Mattusya Vivakshitatvat. To understand that sentence, we need to know Guna, then Satta, and then the Samanadhikarana. So therefore, we will go to Guna and finish these definitions now. Only the Mula we will see. We will not go to the Deepika and see. We will see the Mula and come back there. So Guna is again now classified into 24 Gunas. So first we will just put it this way. Padarthas are seven. There we had among 7 padarthas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had Dravyani. Dravyani were how many? No. Navadravyani. Then we came to Guna now. Now we are in Guna. Okay, Guna we have Chaturvimshatir Gunaha. Then we have Karma, Panchakarmani. Then we will go ahead and see. But now we are in this place. I wrote this to see where we started and where we are now. So we defined we saw the Navadravyas. We have not defined the Navadravyas. We saw what is the 9 Dravyas we have seen. Now we are coming to see what are the 24 gunas. It's just a list now. Just a list of 24 gunas that he is giving. Rupa refers to color. See, again, each of it is direct perception for us. So first, eyes is what we think of. Whenever we think of perception, whenever we think of knowledge, first we think of something through the eyes. So color is for eyes. Next is tongue, rasa. Then gandha. Gandha is smell, nose. Sparsha is touch. So those 4 are directly for the 4 senses that we have. The 5th one, Shabda, will come later for the year, for years. Okay. Then we have Sankhya. Sankhya is numbers, counting, enumeration. Parimana is amount. Quite well known in our studies also, whatever we learned before. One is, how do you tell it in English? One is, both are quantity. One is magnitude. A countable and uncountable kind of thing. Correct. This is countable, that is uncountable. So Sankhya and Parimana, both those are gunas. Okay. Then Parimana is more of something like volume, you could say. I don't know. Parimana is more of volume, more of thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's countable, uncountable, it makes sense. See, Parimana, you start taking Parimana, whether it is kg, liter, etc. You cannot enumerate individual objects. That's so that's what. Anyway, you understand. Sankhya and then Parimana. Pruthaktva is separateness. Okay. Samyoga is joining together, two things coming together. Vibhaga. Vibhaga is again, okay, Pruthaktva and Vibhaga. What is this thing that is given in English? No. Disjunction and separateness. These two are two different things.
Vibhaga, they have given us conjunction.
No, Vibhaga is not conjunction. Vibhaga is disjunction. Pruthaktva is separateness. Okay. So, two things being separate is different from two things. What is Vibhaga? Anyway, we will come across definitions of each of this. That time we will understand. Paratva and Aparatva. Paratva is something being far away or high or something. Okay. It has multiple meanings, but Apara is something closer, lesser, etc. Gurutva is heaviness, weight, mass of something is Gurutva. Dravatva is flow, the liquid, the flow that it has is Dravatva. Sneha is stickiness, that honey and ghee, etc. have. Viscosity, you can call something. Viscousness, Sneha. Shabda, Shabda is sound, okay. Directly sound. Buddhi itself is a guna. Okay, intelligence is a guna of a dravya. So buddhi is intelligence. Sukha and dukkha, pleasure and pain. Icha is wanting something, desire. Icha is desire. Dvesha is the opposite of desire, hate. You don't want that something. Prayatna is effort. Dharma and adharma. Difficult to define here, but dharma and adharma. I don't know what is the merit, demerit. Okay.
Punya Papa.
It leads to punya and papa.
They give it as
Very similar, because in Tarkika there is a different notion. It's not like the Mimamsa notion. So, okay. Then samskara. Samskara, how do we say samskara?
tendency.
No, tendency is just a word. Samskara is something that it is kind of like memories that objects have is called as samskara. And so, if you take a sponge or something, you push it, it holds at that point for some time. No, why does it hold? There is a certain samskara. So that samskara can happen with everything. If you hit this, you don't know what has happened now, but there is a certain samskara that has been generated there because of this particular action, karma happening. No, this see karya karana.
No, because you told some of these other things also. We understood samskara in a different way.
In what way?
Usually we say that samskaras have an effect on you in the sense of
Exactly.
you are brought up.
That is what. All those are same. The samskara, the guna is same. I am saying it. I showed it like this because we are used to samskara only in that context. That's why I gave a very different example.
That's why when you put this example, it's the same as karya and karana.
No, the karya and karana, yeah, it could be. See, sometimes the samskara could be the karya of some particular karana. It could be, no. So, it is not, it is different in the sense, there are two different categories that you are talking about. That's what I am saying. The same, see, let us say,
Samskara is influence.
yeah, some kind of influence, yes. The influence can be physical and literally seeable also, perceivable also is what I am saying. Whenever we are thinking of samskara, you always think of something that is mental or something from Purva Janma, not that only. That is samskara. Why? Because in Purva Janma, there was a karana for that to happen. You did something, you practiced a lot of music in your Purva Janma, so that samskara of being musician has come into this Janma, so that's a Purva Janma samskara. So, without that Purva Janma, that concept also you can think, you can understand samskara is why I am giving these examples. That is what is Shodasa samskara. Again, all those are alaukika samskaras. We are taking examples. I am giving you examples of laukika and drishta samskaras. Okay. So only if you understand drishta samskara, you can conceive of an alaukika samskara. Vedic karma or whatever it is, they all talk about alaukika samskara. You do this, you have a certain samskara, because of that you might get something else. Keep that apart. Anything that you do might generate a samskara. See, the first action that you, let us say, I push this book like this, or whatever. Rather, I put a ball like this. I throw a ball. My first karana for the ball moving is my throw. That is the point. The first movement is because of this karana. Second movement is because of what? Because of first movement. But what is that is holding it? There is no other karana that is pushing it. No. You understand? That is called a samskara. There they take samskara into this thing. Again, see.
We can take inertia as metaphysical inertia or normal.
Again, I said don't bring in physics concepts till we have understood this in its way.
Yeah, no, because you used multiple things. No, now when you told multiple examples.
Correct.
Something what made it hold on to that motion and go.
Yes.
You are telling that is samskara.
Yes. So inertia is a samskara, you can say, if you want to understand it from that manner. Inertia is a guna of that object. Where will that inertia come in these? It will come under samskara only.
Better way of thinking is some kind of transformation.
Yes, any kind. That's why this tendency, transformation, influence, all these come under samskara.
Is influence or effect? Both are different. That's why that's why I am getting.
See, any effect might also, many of the effects might come under samskara. That's why I am saying. See, the karana is a particular padartha. Karya and karana are some of the padarthas. So this karana might many a times come under samskara. Your karya might many times come under samskara, but it might be something else also. No, your karya can be a dravya also. That's what I am saying. You are confusing two different classifications, is what I am saying.
No, I have a seed. I sow it in soil. I water it.
Correct.
The seed grows to become a plant. In this, where do you recognize samskara? Is there any
itself had the samskara becoming that.
All right.
The seed itself had.
See, it need not always be there. It's not that samskara has to be there. Maybe you can do some kalpana of samskara somewhere. There, if necessary, then you. Kalpana means assumption or imagination. Or assumption, not more than imagination.
This class itself is causing samskara in my mind. Like it's causing being imprinted, and I'll remember something, and I'll.
Correct. You won't remember everything, but you will remember few things from this class, no? And you might not remember every word the way I said it. It is causing an impression on your mind, which you will remember in some way. It might affect a lot of other things. That is samskara. That's all. In all these cases, you are able to understand. Yes.
What all is samskara?
That later we will see. Okay. When we come to definition of samskara, we'll see. This is only classification. No? Just remember. So you have a vague idea of samskara. Let us hold on to that now. At the all these will be dealt with at the end. After a long time, we will come back to samskara. Now, why are they gunas means? What else can they be?
Same object.
They are just modifications of.
Simple thing. If sukha and dukkha are not guna, where will you put them? Under which padartha are you going to put them?
They are just modifications of chitta.
Okay. Manas. Manas is a dravya. A modification, something that is on the dravya is a guna only, no?
No, but the rest of the gunas are perceived in a similar way by everyone. Say, if you take a color, which is a guna, everyone perceives it in the same way.
That is only your assumption. How do you know it's perceived in the same way?
Color blindness.
Not only color blindness. See, leave out color blindness. For a person with 100% vision, 10 on 10 vision, two people are there. How do you know the red that you are seeing is the same red that he is seeing? You have only, both of you have a certain perception, and you have come to a common vocabulary that we will call that perception as red. That's all. That's how you teach a child also. When you look at the children's book and say this is red, you don't know what the child is looking at. You are telling the child, we will call this as red. That's all.
That is fine. But what I meant to say was, but here you are agreeing upon one thing and calling it that color or something.
Correct.
Same object is giving dukkha to one person.
One person is sukha to another person. So what?
Okay,
still very similar. The same object, for example, here color blindness comes into picture. Same object you see as red, I see as green. What do you do?
What is prayatna?
Prayatna is effort. the subjective effort that a person puts is prayatna. Not only subjective, it could be by any other object also, by any dravya. But okay. So all these are 24 gunas. Okay. And gunas always need a dravya for their existence. They cannot exist by themselves. Any of these gunas cannot exist by themselves.
Buddhi is also guna. Something like if I tell manavatva, then under which guna does it fall?
Manavatva.
Some feeling of manavatva.
You have to define manavatva first, no? What is manavatva? What do you mean by manushyatva? You cannot just say feeling. If it's feeling, then you will put it under some feeling, that's all. We will put it under some guna of manas, some samskara, we will say that's all. We will. Don't worry too much. First, understand the classification. Then we will come to the other questions. Okay. So that's all. Classification of guna is done. Then we will go to classification of karma. There are 5 different kinds of karma. Utkshepada, apakshepada. Utkshepada is upward motion. Apakshepada is downward motion. Akunchana is contraction. Prasarana is expansion. And gamana is motion. Okay. These are the 5 different kinds of action that is possible. There is no other kind of action that is possible. You can ask. There are in Udgranthas, that is in higher Granthas, there are questions as to why these only 5, why can't I have more different kinds of motions, why can't I have lesser kinds of motions, etc. And there is also another school of thought that is the Gamana is the only action, there is no other action at all.
Here, when he says karma, he is speaking of some work that we do.
Yeah, literally action, physical action.
Physical action is what is being referred to.
What about mental actions? Are they not actions?
No, they will come under buddhi or samskara, etc. They are not action. Action is only, this is only action. That's what. Here itself, he has asked the question. Anyway, we are not coming here. We are not coming to Deepika. We will see those Deepika lines later.
When we are saying upward motion, from what to what is upward?
It's always relative.
No, it is
Relative to your point of reference.
to me only.
Why only you? Your any point of reference, I'm saying. Relative to me means what? See, for me, from here to there could be upward. From first standing here from ground floor to this also can be upward. Now, for me, both are down only. What are you asking?
No, that's what. Then you became the point of reference.
No, it depends. Whoever agrees on some point of reference, we agree. And then
from there only karma is different.
Yes.
We have to agree to something, and from there we can define karma as related.
Karma is just action, that's all.
How do you measure it?
All those are classification of karma, not definition of karma.
No, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
How I meant is upward, downward, contraction, expansion. All these are with respect to a point of reference.
Yes, some point of reference.
Of which the two people who are observing both agree to a common point of
Why
reference.
two people observance? Why one people observance? Why any observance at all first?
No, then upward and downward, from what are we defining? Some level to some level.
Why are you complicating the question this way? I don't understand. How would a child understand upward motion? Upward is upward, downward is downward. That's all we need.
No, it's only like that one.
What else are you asking?
How I meant is, this up and down, we have that preclusion of, if you are on earth means we have the preclusion of gravity against which is upward and downward.
Okay. For any observer, there should be some up, some down, no? Any observer, anywhere with gravity, without gravity, there should be some up, some down.
You don't bring in jacks for office or other things. Up, down.
Simple up, down, down. You are just making it very complicated is what I feel. By having multiple other concepts in your mind. Because you've already studied relativity, you know physics, you know point of inference, all this it's making confusing. For a child who has not studied any of this, what is up, what is down? That's all. That's all. Upward motion, downward motion. No other complication. That's all. That's all. Anything else you put in under Gamana. That's why rotation he is asking there. It is there in the Deepika. We'll come to Deepika later. Next anyway. Because I have to come to Samanya, only then I can deal with that sentence there. Goda Samaradhikaran. Paramaparancheti Dividham Samanyam. Only two kinds of Samanyas. What is Samanya? Samanya means generality. It is also called as Jati in Tarka. And everywhere else it is called Jati. Something that is common to a few different things is called as Samanya. That thing which makes, which is common across a few things is called as Samanya. Okay. It could be Para or Apara. Para means, again, Para and Apara, these are relative terms. We saw this Para, Apara in Guna also. They are actually a Guna of this thing. See, Param, Aparan, how shall I explain? We will come back to cows only. Okay. So, you have all the cows. For cows, what is the commonness of all the cows? Cowness is common. That is why you call all of them as cows. Now, let us take a particular breed of cows. Some gir cows or something. Now, gir cows also have a commonness with them. That is gir cowness. Okay. And that is also common. So, both these are commonalities. Cowness is one commonality, generality as he defines. And gir cowness is the other generality. So, now cowness is bigger than gir cowness. So, that is Param Samanyam. This is Aparam Samanyam. Relative to gir cowness, cowness is Para Samanya. Relative to cowness, gir cowness is Aparam Samanya. That's all. So, one is bigger. What is the biggest Samanya? Just generality is the biggest, being existent, Satta. That is the biggest Samanya. You could have smaller and smaller and smaller subsets. So, that is what Param Aparam basically means. There are only two kinds of Samanya. One is more comprehensive, less comprehensive. That is the idea. Okay. Next. Nitya Dravya Vrittayaha Visheshas Tvananta Eva. Okay. Anyway, I will define it as it is given. Then we will see what are Nitya Dravyas. Nitya Dravyas are those which are always existent. Among the 9 Dravyas, there are some Dravyas which are Nitya Dravyas. Atma, Akasha, all those are Nitya Dravyas. Not those, there is Vibhaga there. No, there is Vibhaga. Some parts of Prithvi are Nitya, some are not Prithvi. There is Nitya Prithvi and Anitya Prithvi also. So that's why, don't worry. Nitya Dravya, whatever is Nitya Dravya, among those Nitya Dravyas, there is some differentiation. Okay. And those differentiations are inherent qualities of that. Those are called as Vishesha. The clarity of this Vishesha, we will come to when we deal with Vishesha later. At the end of the book almost. Samavayas Tvekayeva. Samavaya, inherent quality is one only. What is inherence? Samavaya basically is like the relationship between a guna and a dravya is Samavaya relation. Any guna and its own dravya. A red flower means the redness and the flower is different, red is different, but the relationship between the redness and the flower are the Samavaya relation. Okay, that is called a Samavaya. And a part to a whole, that is also Samavaya relation. Any part to Avayava and Avayavi. For example, the table has multiple parts. This is also a part of table, this is also a part of table. What is the relationship of the leg to the table? It's a Samavaya relation. So all those are there. The examples are not here, but we will come to. But that Samavaya, that kind of relationship is one only. Okay. Inherence is exactly one. Abhavaha Chaturvitaha. Abhava is of 4 kinds. What are the 4 kinds of Abhava? Pragabhava, Pradvamsa Bhava, Anyonya Bhava, and Atyanta Bhava. Pragabhava is absence of something before its existence. Prak means before. A pot is there. Before the emergence of a pot, whatever absence exists, that is Pragabhava. Pradvamsa Bhava is once the pot is broken down, then there is no more pot, that is Pradvamsa Bhava. Anyonya Bhava is in a table there is no pot, in pot there is no table. There is absence of pot in the table, there is absence of table in the pot. Anyonya Bhava. Between each other there is Abhava. Atyanta Bhava is absolute absence. it can never exist, that kind of thing. There is no presence of that at all. That kind of an absence is called as atyanta bhava. Okay, that is absolute negation. Absolute negation, we will see example later. Again, in a way you can say that is absolute negation. You need a pratiyogi again. Pratiyogi jnanam vina abhavaha.
Counter example.
Not counter example. The counterfoil for talking about the absence. You were not there in the class where we dealt about pratiyogi. Okay. Pratiyogi is, see, if you have to talk about the absence of a part, you should know what a part is. Otherwise, how will you talk about the absence of part? That is, part is the pratiyogi for pata bhava, ghata bhava. So till now, very overall classifications we have done. That's all. We have not defined any of these starting from guna. We have only done classification. Why this classification I did? To come here for guna samanathikara. Now we come to the Purva Paksha. Any of you remember the Purva Paksha? You can tell me the Purva Paksha. Here. Nanu gunatvam na dravya lakshanam. Gunavatvam na dravya lakshanam. Why? Why gunavatva is not dravya lakshana?
The point of creation, the lakshana of creation and destruction, there is no guna to the dravya.
Why there is no guna to dravya at the point of creation destruction? Why should we not assume? Why should there be a kshana with no guna? No, part is there. The whole. At the moment you made the part, there was an assumption that the part stays without akarma, agunam akarma cha bhavati. Dravyam. Why did we have to make that assumption? Correct. We had a discussion last class of why we need to make that assumption. We need to make that assumption because there is a karya karana bhava. The karya has to be, the karana has to be there for before the karya. The cause has to exist before the effect. And while making in the part, for example, the guna is the karya, the dravya is the karana, and hence the karana has to exist before the karya. Hence this Purva Paksha came across as your previous definition as something gunavatvam cannot be dravya lakshana, because at these two moments your definition fails. So there is havyapti of the definition. The lakshana, there is havyapti of your lakshana. Hence we need a better lakshana was the Purva Paksha. Now he says, no, not necessarily. Nevertheless, I will change my definition slightly for you to make more sense, because this is what I intend. Vivakshitatvat means this is what I intend. By saying gunavatva, what I intend is something else. Now we adhikarana. We will take the word adhikarana and then we'll go to samana adhikarana. Adhikaranam means the substratum of something is called as adhikaranam. For a red flower, the flower is the substratum of the redness. Okay. So the redness, you understand what adhikaranam, you get it. So for not only for guna etc. See, for this dravya is the adhikaranam. This is sitting on here. So this is based upon this. For whatever is the support for something else, you can call it as adhikaranam in a certain sense. There is a very layman, not very precise definition. For you to imagine, I am giving this idea. That's all. Okay, adhikaranam. Now, samana adhikarana means same adhikarana, not equal adhikarana. Samana adhikarana. Samana adhikarana means same adhikarana. In this table, this book and laptop both are samana adhikarana. What is the samana adhikaranam for laptop and the book? The table is the samana adhikaranam. Not two different tables. The same table is the adhikaranam for the laptop and the book. So samana adhikaranam. Now we come to guna samana adhikarana. Guna is in one adhikarana. Gunaha is in one adhikarana. Guna samana adhikarana satta jati Yeah, I know. That's why I'm writing Satta Jatihi. Bhinna. Hope. Yeah, this should make sense. Okay. Last class we saw that all dravyas, all substances need to have guna. Without guna, dravya cannot exist. But only at the first moment and the last moment, at these two kshanas, it does not have guna. But in all other kshanas, any dravya needs to have a guna. This is necessary. We saw what is samanya now. Not what is samanya, but we saw samanya. Samanya means what? Generality. This generality exists in 3 padarthas only. I rubbed the padarthas, okay. Only among the 3 padarthas, the first 3 padarthas, dravya, guna and karma, these 3 padarthas have what is called as samanya. What is samanya? Generality. Samanya exists only in dravya has dravyatva, guna has gunatva, karma has karmatva. After that, samanya does not have samanyatva, or samavaya does not have samavayatva. All this is not possible. Okay. Only the first 3, dravya, guna and karma, have samanya. Commonality or generality exists only in the first 3. It cannot exist in the other 4 padarthas. Now the definition that he is giving here, just commonality.
They have commonality.
Not there. They have this commonality. They have this padartha called as commonality. Commonality is a different padartha. Generality. Samanya is a separate padartha. This padartha can exist only in dravya, guna and karma. It cannot exist anywhere else. For example, dravyatva or gotva, manushya, manushyatva. We are all dravya, so we all can have some commonality. Any other karma can have. Gati, gatitva can be there. Okay. Guna, any shukla, if you take shukla is white. Shuklatva can be there. Buddhi, buddhimatva or buddhitva, all this can be there. So for guna, karma and dravya, commonality can exist. For all these generalities, there is a superset of generality, existence. Okay. The existence generality that is there, that is called as satta. Satta means existence. Existence. So the commonality, generality of existence, you could say. Are you able to? Satta means the table exists.
Isn't that actually a dravya itself? Existence is a dravya.
Huh?
Existence of something is not a dravya.
No. How do I put this?
If it had not existed, I wouldn't have given it a padartha.
Correct.
So that loop is hitting me.
No. The commonality of existence is what we are talking about. Satta jatihi should be there in that. Not only.
You can think of it like this. All of these things exist. So existence is a commonality among all the objects which are here.
That you are right. He is asking why does it not exist in the remaining 4 padartha. For example, samanya, vishesha, samavaya and this thing. Why it does not exist is because abhava is not existence. Okay. So there samanya cannot exist. Samavaya is one only. Therefore, commonality cannot exist in one single thing. Okay. For commonality, you need at least 2 things to say there is some commonality between them. With just one cow, you cannot say cowness.
Abhava we can say.
Wow.
We can say that there are 2 things.
Abhava is first of all non-existence. How can you talk about satta there? It is absence.
Absence of something becomes a commonality for 2 things now.
No.
There are 4 kinds of this abhava.
No. Again, your Purva Paksha is okay, but there is a different samadhana for that. Okay. In absence, you cannot talk about existence at all. You cannot talk about bhavartva in absence. There is no abhavatva, etc. Okay. It will make no sense basically. Then now we took out abhava, we took out this thing, vishesha. We have vishesha next. The whole idea of vishesha is difference. So you cannot have commonality. Okay. In samanya, you cannot have samanya. Understood? So samanya cannot have itself. That's why only the other three have. Only dravya, guna and karma have samanya. That satta jatihi. Jatihi exists only in these three things. Okay. That satta jati, that generality of existence exists only in dravya, guna and karma. Now you understand?
So that jatihi, that generality of jatihi itself, isn't it a dravya by itself?
It is not a dravya, it is a padartha. That is samanya. That is samanya padartha. That is samanya. So, that is a separate padartha, that is samanya. And that samanya covers that simple, just samanya without any qualification, not dravyatva, not gotva, without any of this qualification, just that samanya is satta jatihi. Wherever you can put that samanya, you can apply that samanya is what we are calling as satta jatihi. Okay. That is there. Now, where can guna exist? Guna can exist only in dravya. Only in dravya. So, guna, where can it exist? Only in dravya. So, this dravya is your adhikarana for guna. Dravyam. Okay. Dravyam is your adhikarana for guna. In dravya, this satta jati can also exist. It does exist rather. In dravya, satta jati is there. We can call it sattvam, okay, but we can also call it satta jati. The satta jati exists in dravyam. Okay.
What about vishesha?
Huh?
Vishesha.
Many things can exist in dravya. That is not what we are talking about. This definition now. See, the problem with this definition was guna exists in dravya, okay, but guna does not exist in dravya in the first and last moment. That's all. So understand that we are talking about the definition now. He is trying to make the definition more clear. That what do I mean by gunavatvam? He is saying satta bhinna. What did he say? Guna samanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimatvam. See, satta bhinna jatimatvam can exist in
Abhava.
not in abha. Satta bhinna jatimatvam. No, it has to be jatimatvam. Jati can exist only in guna, karma and dravya. Okay. So, in guna samanadhikarana, which is already dravya, what jati can exist? Only dravyatva jati can exist. Guna's adhikarana is dravya. Here what jati can exist here? Only dravyatva jati and all its subsets can exist. Dravyatva and its subsets can exist here. Understood? No? This dravyatva jati is supersetted by the satta jati. Correct? Therefore, this
jati is adhikarana for dravya.
dravya is adhikarana for satta jati.
Because satta jati is okay.
I will explain it in this manner. Only look at, forget the figure altogether. Look at me only. Okay. Adhikarana is there. There is a dravya. Dravya is your adhikarana. What are we trying to define? Dravya only we are trying to define. Dravya is your adhikarana. No, we are trying to define dravya. Ba. Gunavatvam not dravya lakshanam. Dravya lakshanam is what we are. That's why don't get confused. We are trying to
That's why I was trying to think we are.
No, we are trying to define dravya. We are trying to define dravya. We are back at that point. The first definition given for dravya was gunavatvam. The Purvabakshi said, no, this does not hold at first and last moment. That's why we are trying to modify the definition. To modify the definition, we need a few concepts, so we went ahead. Now, Dravya is the Adhikarana for Guna, no doubt. The same Dravya is the Adhikarana for Dravyatva.
Dravya? Okay.
Adhikarana for Dravyatva.
Okay.
Dravya is Adhikarana for Satta Jati also. For just simple commonality. That Satta Jati. Satta Jati overarches Dravya, Guna and Karma. All three. Therefore, that Satta Jati exists in Dravya also. So, Dravya has Satta Jati. It has Dravyatva. And it has Guna. All these three exist. So, Dravya is Adhikarana for these three things. The only problem here is Satta Jati exists in Guna and Karma also. It does not exist only in Dravya. It exists in Guna and Karma also.
So it is Ativyapti.
It is Ativyapti. If you define some, let us say you had given definition to Dravya as Satta Jati Matvam.
It is Avyapti.
Ativyapti, because it applies to Karma and Guna also. So, Satta Jati Matvam is not complete definition. Ativyapti.
It is not applying to...
It applies to Dravyatva. It applies to Karma and Guna also. But I want to define only Dravya. So, Satta Jati cannot be a definition for Dravyatva. Satta Jati, Satta Bhinna Jati Matva. So, I cannot have Satta Jati there. So, it is a different Jati from Satta Jati. Satta Bhinna Jati. Now, you understood that word? Satta Bhinna Jati. This is the Satta Bhinna Jati. It is not Satta Jati. It is a different Jati from Satta. And that Jati should exist in this Adhikarana, where Guna also exists. Now we will go at this definition in a reverse manner. Let us say only Guna Samanadhikaranam was given as a definition. That is same as Gunavatvam. Guna Samanadhikaranam means Gunavatvam. That Gunavatvam did not hold. The definition did not hold. Therefore, we are adding a extra adjective Satta Bhinna Jati Matva. The Satta Bhinna Jati Matva also exists in the same Adhikarana. That means Dravyatva also exists. So, at the first moment, now we have to apply this definition to wherever it did not previously apply.
So, in this, all these efforts, we did not define Dravya. We rather define Dravyatvam.
No, we are defining Dravya only.
When we say Satta Bhinna Jati Matvam, when we are saying that, we are telling about the Gunamatvam, Samana, Dravyatvam and...
Wait, Satta Bhinna Jati Matvam can be three things first. It could be infinite number of things, but since we are dealing with the top three, we will take. Correct. The next level is three things, which is Dravyatva, Gunatva and Karmatva. Okay. So, these three things are the Satta Bhinna Jatis. Have understood?
And then we say
Samanadhikarana. One or more of these three should be Samanadhikarana with Guna. Only Dravya is there as Samanadhikarana. Any number of these along with Guna should be able to exist in the same Adhikarana. Let us take the pot example, which is where we were trying to Adhyakshanavat Chinne Ghate. In the first moment that the Ghata is created, what is the problem? It does not have Guna, but it has Dravyatva Jati. Dravyatva Jati exists, or else you cannot, there is no other way. It has to have Dravyatva. It does not have Gunatva or Karmatva, because Agunam Akarmacha Tishtati, Prathamakshane. There is neither Guna nor Karma in the first Kshana. So, Satta Bhinna Jati Matva Samanadhikarana Guna. Guna and the Satta Bhinna Jati, wherever they coexist, on whichever substratum they coexist, that substratum is what I intend by saying Gunavatva. That's what I mean.
Dravya and Jati also having Karita similar way to...
No, how? Dravyatva is not a Guna. Dravyatva is Samanya.
Karyakarana can happen only from same sort of Padartha only. Dravya can give only, Dravya can be a Karya for a Karana of another Dravya only. Something like
no, that. Nothing, no, because this Dravya only gave rise to that Guna, no? Rise to or rise to, you can say, not materially rise to. See, our whole idea was that the redness or any guna in the pot, the hardness of a pot, or all these gunas of the pot, they come because of the pot is the karana. The ghata is the karana for that. So all these are gunas of the pot. So guna came from dravya only in that way. Came means what? It did not emerge from that. This is the karana for that. That's all. Karana can be of various kinds. Ruvi samaya karana, samavai karana, many other karanas can be there.
Okay, the jati of pot is always there. So it's not kari karana.
It is not kari karana. Exactly.
It is just included in this jati.
Ah, exactly. Right.
Why is the pot like? Because it is a pot.
Not pot like potness.
Potness.
Potness is, let us say all pots in the world were destroyed. Would potness exist or not? It does exist, no? That's why it is. You destroy all pots. For example, some species went extinct. The dodo or something. Dodo nest still exists. Okay. That is what we call by commonality. So that commonality is still there.
Dodo nest permanent. Nitya vastu.
Yes, nitya vastu. Dodo nest is nitya vastu. Dodo is not nitya. When you see a dodo, you see the dodo nest in that specific object, sample, correct. It's a sample.
So this guna is added to the samanya.
It is.
So that it is
What guna is added?
So if there is no pot, then there is no guna of pot, right?
Okay.
But pot is defined by
Potness you can define the pot. By potness you can define the pot.
So a dravya doesn't need guna then while defining, because
So, you know, you can define it using samanya. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't the pot
Definition only three things. It should be dosha traya rahitam. You can define it however you want.
No, but then when you asked what is potness, all I will tell about potness is all the gunas only I will tell.
That's all. That is because you are limited by your language and your knowledge. That's all.
But then, what
See, just because a child does not know what a pot is, does potness go away? Ask the question always in this reverse manner. Let us say there is no human existence, only some animal or no sentient existent. Potness will be there or not?
So, because who is there to perceive that pot?
That's what. That is a different question. But just ask it.
Asyanta bhava.
no, but how do you say it? If potness existed if there were no human? I mean, not in that sense that we only created pot.
Ah.
But, how do you
Simple. Say with the extinct animals or whatever. With any of these cases, you can take. Yeah.
What is the pramana to observe anyness?
Huh?
Slowness, partness, partness.
For that, you are talking about whether Chaitanya is necessary to observe that. Achid Vastu is necessary. That is a separate Vedantic question. I am asking just as a thought experiment.
But even more fundamentally,
Ah.
you just said that dravyameva adhikaranam ityuktam.
Correct.
तर्हि इदानीं घटत्वं
घटे वर्तते.
जायते खलु
न
घटस्य. Because it has
घटस्य
partness-
घटत्वं न अधिकरणं. घटमेव घटत्वस्य अधिकरणं.
because it has partness, part can exist.
Huh?
Only because partness exists,
Huh.
part can exist.
No, who said that?
That's the example that we just gave, no? Even if you destroy all the pots in the world,
Partness still
exists.
Partness exists, but because of the partness only we are identifying this as a part. So that is the more fundamental thing. Right?
Okay, this discussion is going elsewhere, but
You're going into the correct problem because we
no, what he is saying is correct. I agree. Yeah, in the sense, I agree at this point of time, but that is not the case. Dravya is the adhikarana for dravyatva.
Adhikaranatvam is
Adhikarana means everything need not have an adhikaranam. No. For example, just for ghatatva to exist, it does not mean that there should always be an adhikaranam for that to exist. See, you know redness. How did you know redness? By seeing a red flower, by seeing a red saree, by seeing a red cloth, everything got to know redness. You don't need to have any of these. All these can be destroyed and still you will have redness. So redness doesn't need that adhikaranam. But when you perceive it, it will be in some adhikaranam. So here the samanadhikaranam, dravyatva will exist only in dravya. But if this dravya was destroyed also, this dravyatva will exist. Since it is a jati, it will exist. Now this definition is guna samanadhikarana satta bhinna jatimatvasya vivakshitattvat. So for that gunavatvam, he is giving a clarification that this is what I intend by saying gunavatvam. That something has guna, what do I mean? That it also has satta bhinna jatimatva in the same adhikarana. That's what I mean. Wherever this guna is, so in that first moment of that ghata creation, guna is yet to come. But that satta bhinna jati exists there. And dravyatvam exists. Karmatvam or gunatvam cannot exist because guna has to exist in that. And now this definition is clear till here. Now the next Purva Paksha, next 2 lines. What is the time? Okay, then we will start.
Last question. Can you have a dravya without any guna?
No, only in this Adya Kshana and final Kshana.
It cannot be like prolonged state, it can be without a guna.
No, there is not. Generally, it is not possible, only you have to say.
See, we cannot say whether it is
Only
prolonged
the.
or not. But before the creation,
That's all. At that moment of creation only, you accept it. That is also Anumana Pramana, you accept it.
At the moment of destruction,
Destruction also, you accept it.
that time dravyatvam was there, dravya was not there. No?
Meaning, Dravya ceases to exist only when it is destroyed.
Correct.
At the moment before.
Pot also did not exist. So we don't have to talk about the guna of the pot. No? It is inferred that if pot only didn't exist, the pot's guna will also not exist. Right?
Correct.
But the same is not the case with at the creation. Because at the creation point, pot existed, but the guna of pot did not exist. Isn't it?
It is not at the moment of creation. See, creation is finished and then for a kshana, there is no guna.
Correct. So, after creation, there was a second when
The second is a very, okay, misnomer, but I understood. Kshana. Use the word
the
kshana.
guna was not there.
Correct. Similarly, just let us say you're taking a hammer to break the pot. The kshana before the pot breaks, it stands aguna kriya. There is one kshana here, one kshana there, where it is aguna kriyancha tishtati.
Karikarana works for creation. How destruction?
I don't know whether it is the same reason. We have to see whether it is the same reason or not. Just I do not know the reason. Adhyakshana chinne gate utpanna vinashte gate cha. Yeah. That it actually does not say utpanna vinashta ghate. Let's see. So we will take those last 2 sentences later. Nan vevamapi ekam rupam prasad prathak. Nanu is another next Purva Paksha. We finished 1 sentence today. We will take these 2 sentences tomorrow. Any revision? You understood today's? Was it too difficult?
2 doses of coffee. 1 dose of coffee is but satta bhinna. Here in definition of dravya, satta is a kind of superset.
Correct.
Which encompasses all the
Satta jati.
jati.
Not satta. Satta jati.
Satta jati. Okay. Satta jati is a subset of satta.
No.
No? Satta jati, think of it as one word.
Yeah, as I now think of it as one word, but the other way, if you want to see, satta is the adhikarana for satta jati.
In satta, we say satta bhinna. It is bhinna from all the 3.
Yes. That's why satta bhinna jati. By difference, we only mean it is not exactly same. That's what we mean. Because in satta bhinna jati, see, dravyatva, gunatva and karmatva clearly make up satta jati. They are 3 parts of satta jati. So by satta bhinna jati, we are just referring to the subsets also can be referred to as satta bhinna jati. Because they are not completely covering the satta jati.
Any one part of it can be considered as
Satta bhinna, see, this is bhinna from this whole thing. That's all we mean.
but it is a part of.
No, it could be a part of that. It is not that this is separate from that. That's what bhinna in that and avagatam.
Abhava, is that even?
Verum satta. Everywhere, whenever we talk about bhava, it is satta bhava only in a sense, in a certain sense.
Most general satta.
That is the absolute Dharma.
Oh, you are talking about the absolute absence. That is a different question. It can only be we don't know whether it is physically possible. It can be a mental construct.
Final kind of abhava is that, is it not that?
Atyanta bhava. Atyanta bhava is not exactly that. Maybe you can read the note that they have given there. Here, 23rd. What is the note? The number of the note is what? 23. Yeah. You can go back at the book and read that notes. Those notes are very elaborate and very nice. Some nice examples he gives there. Nidhaya hridi vishvesham vidhaya guruvandanam balanam sukhabodhaya kriyate tarka sangraha vishveshwaram sambamurtim pranipatya giram gurum tikam shishuhitam kurve tarka sangraha deepikam. Since it's the first time I'm teaching, some difficulty in